What's up, everybody? I'm Jay.
I'm Christy.
And
These are the
this,
guys. Oh, don't be so disappointed, Jay. I tried to take your introduction and he's so disappointed. He prepped me for like a half hour. It's what
Bloopers.
nobody in the background will know. But he prepped me for a half hour that I don't get to do the intro, but I stole it. Go ahead,
and
Jay.
this is episode 13 of the Trading Floor podcast. With us today, as Christy abruptly interrupted me, are the boys. We got TTS favorite London couple, Ben, aka Baron's Finn. Welcome, guys.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
And then we got Jinx over here third wheeling with them.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Just gonna throw Jinx under the bus.
Yeah, that's fine.
No. It's
I
all
love
love.
it.
It's all love.
It's
but
a powerful
I love
trike.
it.
It's a powerful
Yeah.
trike.
Yeah, and we just finished actually a 24-hour extravaganza that Bear and Sven hosted, as well as Jinx was there for moderating, but he'll be doing all the editing. Have fun with that, of all the 24-hour segments. But it was very awesome. We had all kind of guests. It wasn't just admins like Christy, Artie, and Brutus. It wasn't just staff like us and Roxy. Well, Roxy wasn't there. Sorry, Roxy, but shout out to you. We love you.
She was there in spirit.
Hawks.
She was represented well.
Yeah, Hawks and all kind of other members were there. Hawks went over divergences. We had a panel of members who did prop firm experience talk, going full-time talk. And then we also covered the 6 trading strategies, which was really cool. But yeah, it was a very interesting thing. We'd never done this before, so it was really awesome that we pulled it off. I think we did pretty damn well myself. But this will only be available for members in the community. So if you're interested in potentially looking at this, it should be coming out today. All the editing should be done. If not, then check the next day. This will be coming out Monday. Obviously, I'm talking about Monday. And yeah, but Christy, what are we going to be doing this podcast?
So during the 24-hour extravaganza, we covered like a ton of stuff, risk management, all the topics, like the strategies, like Jay said. We covered some mindset stuff, even though we didn't have a designated mindset panel. We got some deep mindset stuff, I think, in a lot of the panels. There was Q&A with the admins, me, Artie, and Brutus. There were like members from the community, just regular members who are day traders, all different levels coming in and talking. So that was really exciting, like Jay just said. So if you guys haven't checked that out and you are a member in TTF, please make sure that you do check out the recordings. We made that on purpose pretty early in December to give you guys literally 24 hours of content to keep you very busy throughout December, because December is notoriously a terrible month to trade. I did not make that up. That is a fact, very well-known fact by most day traders or traders just in general, even swing traders and scalpers will all tell you that the market in December is definitely a beast of its own. And it's not really recommended to trade. It gets bit wonky, it can be volatile, there can be lack of volume at times. It's just not the best to do. So we do advise that you take that month off if possible. If you can't take the whole month, that's okay, but you should definitely start looking at taking it off from the day of this recording, which the day this is being released is the December 19th. Thank you, boys. That's why you're here. No, thank you. So it is Monday the 19th now, and yeah, you should definitely be done trading. So the 16th is when our community is officially saying that you should stop probably at this point, and you should wait until after the new year before resuming actual trading in the markets. But that doesn't mean that you can't be doing other things. And that's what we're here to talk about, is like, what do you do during this, 2 to 3 week hiatus where you're not in a live market, but what would you be doing? And we brought everybody on. Obviously, the holidays will keep you busy. So some people will take just time off. They just take the time off. And if that's the case, enjoy it. But for some people, you want to still be proactive and productive during this time. Maybe you have some time for real and you want to use it to your advantage. So we're going to all talk about what we do, each of us kind of at different levels here and doing a little bit different, but something to be proactive during these couple of weeks. So we're not out of trading altogether, but we're just using this time to figure out like how to get ourselves situated to go into the new year with our best foot forward. So let's talk a little bit with the guys. And we can figure out what are your guys' plans? Like, what will you be planning to do now starting the 16th, like close of market? We're not trading anymore. So what will you guys be doing? do you want to start like calling? I don't know. Anybody want to volunteer?
Oh, I got it.
Nobody looks
There
excited.
you go, Bear.
I'll start us off. Not
Okay.
a problem. For me personally, obviously I use December to take some vacation because everyone needs rest.
Facts.
Take a couple days, a week and a half, just kind of enjoy yourself. Especially around Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. 'Cause that's one of my times to kind of like reset, reload for the new year. Beyond that, I review all my investments, trading accounts, see performance for the year, what's going on, prepare for my taxes for the next year. It's an important thing.
If you're in the US, some
Yeah.
people aren't. So Sven, I don't know. Are you Germany end of December or are you guys
Yeah.
April? Okay.
No,
Oh, so
same.
you're with us too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but we
this
have
is
more time for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we file in April, but I mean everything's for the
well,
year.
the last day, yeah, but it ends. So it's always good to kind of like spend the time getting your books in order, which is something I'll be doing as well, Bear. Always a little bittersweet,
I
around
know.
this time of year where you're like, how much do I owe the IRS? Anyway, but yes, that is something you could also look at doing too. But yeah, go ahead. What
And
else?
then, after that, I'll be probably working on a new strategy that looking to implement in January that Sven and I have been working on for 6 months now. Something like
Quite some
that.
time.
Yeah, quite some time. So hopefully we're in the final stages of getting that one figured out, ready to go, ready to put into a live market. And then the big sort of project for me, which isn't usual in December, but this year I got to make plans to go down to Costa Rica to meet and organize the termination of a project that have been going on down there for 7 years, meet with lawyers, contractors, banks, etc. So that's
Fun. I haven't
plan for
gotten
me.
my invite yet, but that's the mail is slow right now.
you get the invite when it's all pretty up and finished in hopefully March. That's like the targeted timeline. March, April, hopefully gets buttoned up, and then all of TTF.
All right,
Come on,
some
come on
Easter
down.
time down there. We'll do spring break at your place in Costa Rica.
Break.
That sounds like a plan.
I have to work on my bikini, buddy.
All right. That sounds
everybody's
great.
welcome. But
Yeah, so that sounds good. When it comes to, for you, I have a question. When it comes to you for doing your strategy, preparing it, like, is there, I mean, obviously you do back testing for us here. So if you guys don't know that, Bear is one of our back testers. So clearly he knows how to back test. But is there anything that you like particularly are looking at as far as like, how are you going to go about implementing your strategy? You're looking at this newer strategy you're looking at bringing into the markets after January.
So Sven and I actually did a pretty extensive back testing and trade plan like creation, if you will. Now obviously thanks to Sven and his ability to write some code, we were able to automate a lot of it, so that definitely sped up the process. We have something like, what is it, like 500,000 trades across 27 pairs or something.
That's always helpful.
That's all?
It was a lot. I think if we do that manually, it would be like month of time.
It would have been years to manually backtest everything we did automated. But then we took that, and then the sort of the breakdown is we looked at every pair for every day for every session, and then we analyzed how it performed every day of the week throughout the year, because we have a year's worth of data. We looked at every pair, how it performed during each day of the week, what kind of gains and drawdown we were getting. And then from there, we extrapolated a trade plan that could potentially work into the future without trying to curb fit too much. So we're curb fitting while also keeping it broad, and then trying to find the best combinations of things that gives us the maximum amount of gain without too much drawdown. And then now, basically, we're taking what we had and putting it into test on the live markets to see if we are now getting, or I say now, we've been doing some of this in October and November, but now it's December. So starting in January is actually the first month that we have of repeat data, right? Because we have January tested. So then we need to see, does January match our previous year, or are we getting some completely different numbers? And as long as we're getting,
if it does.
Right. So as long as we're getting within sort of an acceptable variance, then we can start to say, okay, this is really, this works essentially, and then start to put it into actual funding, etc.
Nice.
So fingers crossed.
I think a lot of people don't, or I wouldn't say I guess you could say underestimate data, and like why we say to back test, they don't fully understand, like, okay, like it's important to test your strategy, but like there's multiple things you could pull from it. And I've done this before, like in the past as well. Some of y'all might have seen YouTube videos on Christie's account before, but the power of like filtering your data, like weirdly enough, I do think that majority of the time, like, and I'm not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice, this is just what I have been able to see on the things that I have tested, is the simple fact that like NAS usually doesn't perform well on Wednesdays. Like it's just a random day that just NAS usually doesn't perform good at on a lot of the strategies that I've tested before. And like people don't realize, like, you could test, like, there's specific time slots. Obviously, whenever there's more volume, a lot of the times that could help, but you might not understand. You might understand, like, your strategy is probably better in low volatility than high volatility. So, and you're out there trading like New York Open, you're wondering why are you getting slaughtered all the time, and like you're not really testing per time. So like you could test per time, you could test per day, and you can filter that as well. So that's kind of a cool thing that you can do, while it takes a little more time because you have to document like what time you're taking the trade or what day. You don't technically have to document what day you're taking the trade, because there's a format in Google Sheets that allows you to change the date format to where you add on the day. As long as you put the correct date format, you can have it set to where the days automatically pop up. So you don't have to worry about the days. You have to worry about like documented times. If you're
you can
wondering.
actually see this in our recent testing, Jay, for DeLorean.
Yeah.
Right? If you were to just test New York session, like just the whole session, it would not have been that profitable.
Yeah.
But when we broke it down into the more volatile portion of mixed and then the less volatile portion of New York, we saw that New York was making 16% this month or last month, and then 20% the month before that, where mixed went -8% and then minus something else. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
And if you just tested everything with no distinction, you would have been like, oh, this only
this
makes
is
like
break even,
like 9% or something, or it would have been wouldn't been very sexy. But if you're like, oh god, New York, this is just, it's killing it, and then you just trade that, just those last couple hours of New York, it works. And we found the same thing with Sven, is that we would take a pair that Monday, Wednesday, Friday would move, right? It trended, so the strategy would make over the course of a year would make it's like 10 or 15% over the course of the whole year. And then on Tuesday, Thursday would consolidate or reverse, and it just didn't apply to the strategy. So you'd end up losing money, and overall like that pair throughout the year trading that strategy wouldn't make any money.
Yeah.
But when we took the 15% made in the year trading 2 or 3 days and add it with a second pair that trades Tuesday, Thursday, overall you make 30% instead of breaking even on one place and then making a couple percent on another pair. And so we really tend to optimize it. Now optimization is a very fine line, because if you go too far in one direction, you just start curb fitting for the data you have, and then it just completely blows up in the future. So you really have to make sure that like your specificity is enough so that it fits a pattern, but not specific enough to what exactly happened historically. But it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun. I love analyzing data. So.
Yeah. So these guys obviously are your data guys. As you guys can see.
We're
engineers. But it's just
important.
It's important to like understand your scenario. If you don't, if you have a lot of time on your hands, then sure, like you can like kind of go through all of like mixed and New York and like test all that, but still try and keep track of like individual sessions or specific times. If you only have a specific time you could trade, and it's like the first 2 hours of London, there's no point in backtesting Asian, no point in backtesting New York.
Right.
Only test what you can trade or what you want. Like if you might have 4 or 5 hours like free, but if the first 2 hours are like the best hours, just use that and go for more forex pairs, try indices. That there's no point, like don't think, you got to work smarter, not harder. Like just understand your situation, what you can trade, and test that.
Well, I was going to say that was even something that we realized that day that we like in DeLorean chat, when we realized like, oh, this has been in New York session, it's been having a really good couple of months. And then I started talking to Jay, and like he pivoted that information and said, well, like, listen, there's a lot of drawdown to be had because it's a 1 minute system. So there's like a million trades. But he started pivoting the information and said, it's like, oh, well, if you only trade this Friday, you know, then you like never experience that drawdown almost. Like, and it kind of just goes to that power of the data that you're able to kind of parse out when you take that data, you're able to parse out and find out what works best.
Yeah. People hate backtesting, but the more you do it, the more like solidified that you can, like the more specific you can get to. Because if you only have 100 trades, like, okay, like trading mixed session on a Friday, the first 2 hours, you might have 2 trades, you know? So it's like that, you can't really use that.
Well, it's like the question we probably answer in like almost the most in the Discord is like, how do I build more confidence? Like, this is how.
Yeah.
This is how. Because if you don't have confidence, it means that you probably didn't test enough to trust your system to be risking the amount of money that you're risking. And even if that's a 1% position or 0.5% position, if you don't trust your system, you're not going to have any confidence to do it.
Yeah.
So what you guys, I mean, basically to wrap that up, is like they're talking about extreme filtering, and we do take it to an extreme here. Like obviously we have all of us are full-time day traders. We have the time and the availability to do that. And obviously, you know, we have resources where like we're able to work with people who are coders, and we have engineers, and we have all these other things. So obviously we have some really, really smart people that help do this, but I don't want the average person to feel overwhelmed, to be like, how do I do that? Because I'm not an engineer and I'm not a coder, you guys. I just day trade. I came from a medical background. I had no clue about any of this world when I started, and I still was able to do it. So like the average normal person can do this. It doesn't need to sound as daunting, or like when you start hearing them talking about like stuff, it can seem overwhelming. I felt that way too. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. You can do it. My advice is kind of do what Jay said and focus on you. Figure out your session, your trading plan, like make your trading plan. And that means your session, your pairs you're interested in trading, the days and the times that you can truly sit down and trade. Like when are you going to actually be at your best undisturbed trade? Then look at backtesting that specific time. You don't need to backtest everything if you know you're not going to be available. Who cares what it's doing on sessions that you know you're not going to be awake to trade? So don't waste your energy and time doing that. Focus on your sessions. And then what you can do is that extreme filtering, where now you can say, okay, well, I backtested it all, and maybe this is my overall profit, potential profit that you would have based on your system. And then go back through and find out, like, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, find out, is there a day that does better? You know, I think the normal thing you're taught in Forex trading is Fridays kind of suck. You shouldn't trade Mondays. You shouldn't trade Fridays. So I took that blindly when I started learning. And then as I got into indices, I realized Fridays were great. Like Fridays were one of my best days. And I was like, what idiot told me this? But it wasn't, you know, obviously that was like me not doing my own testing. And I was like, that was when I realized Fridays one of my best days, and Mondays wasn't one of my best days. So I typically don't trade Mondays. If you're in the Discord, you'll know like Monday's like my day off, and I will not look at, I will pretty almost never, unless I'm in strategy wars, I will almost never look at a chart on Mondays. I don't like Mondays because I know like my system and the things I trade, they don't really do that great on Mondays. But Fridays, they do fantastic. So it's all about learning what you're actually going to be trading. Don't just take what we say or the data that we gave you. You can take it as like a baseline, but then go back through and figure out for you personally, what do you want to trade, filter it out, and then create that trading plan. That's the actual trading plan. When you say Mondays I trade, Wednesdays I don't because they suck, Thursdays I trade, Fridays I trade, like that kind of thing. Maybe these times are that's like the times where you see it does the best. So that's kind of what they're saying there. It doesn't need to be as complicated as us telling you need years of data. It
Maybe we can make some
overly
videos,
complicated.
but I would actually like to go to the source of the extreme data, Mr. Sven. What will you be doing this month?
Thank you for the intro. So I actually have like a 4 phases when it comes to what I do between the years. So I typically take the days off before Christmas, and that first phase is for me to really wrap up the year that had happened. So make sure I go through a portfolio, do any adjustments I need, tech stuff, as we already heard, and just go over my trades as well. So kind of really like finishing up the year So I have a clean slate in front of me when the new year actually happens. And then we have a few days of Christmas. This is where we with the family, and nothing, no trading, nothing. So I'm making sure that I don't have to think about trading. I don't have to watch like into my broker and nothing. This is full family time, recharging, just having quality time with the family. And then typically between the years, so after Christmas but before New Year's Eve, that's my third kind of phase. This is where I actually do my planning for the year. I review my personal development schedule, because I have a personal development plan that goes 3 years rolling, and just review like, what did I meet my goals? Do I have to adjust them? Do I want to focus on certain different things like I had planned the year before? And that's basically everything that happens for me between Christmas and New Year's Eve. And of course, New Year is like, once again, family and friends time. And then I typically have the first week in the new year off, and that's where I actually hit the ground running. So when I do my planning for the new year, I typically pick a very specific topic I want to like get good at or get better. And then I do like really a 1 week crunching only that topic. So like intense learning, because that way I really kickstart the year. So I have a like very strong start, and I have my basic knowledge already and refreshed or built up before I actually start trading. So that's for me a very neat way to get into the new year and just hit the ground running.
I actually kind of like that too, because I am definitely, well, Chris, you know this, I am definitely a binge worker. Like I will I'll lax off, and Chris will be messaging me, and then I'll take the next 3 hours and basically do the next 2 weeks of like worth of work.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, here you go. Like, have fun. But that's just how I roll. Like back when I worked as an engineer for an oil and gas company, I would struggle so hard every single day to wake up. I wouldn't say I'm not a morning person. I'm just not a good 9 to 5 kind of person.
Jay's
I like
not
binging.
a morning person, you guys.
I like binging my work and then being like, all right, I'm chilling now. But yeah, no, Sven, I can definitely attest to that. That's actually kind of a cool idea, is like starting off the year kind of with a bang almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have a hot topic. So even though I have a 3-year rolling plan, which covers different things, I always have one topic like this is the topic of the year for me, or at least for the first part of the year. And that's one of the things that I do in the first week, like getting like more knowledge about that topic, and then plan accordingly after that. So that's just how I like to actually kickstart my learning.
I love that you like mentioned setting goals. I think, everybody sets goals in the new year. Like everyone like kind of does that. But I love that you actually mentioned doing that. And I think that if you're not a goal setter, you should jump on the bandwagon of people who set goals and use the momentum of like New Year, where everybody's like, hey, New Year, new me, do that whole thing and jump into that and place a goal for yourself. And we've talked about this in another podcast where Sven has talked about like his whole 3-year plan. So you guys can go check that one out. That one is episode. We will insert it on the screen somewhere here, Jinx. I don't remember which episode that was. But that we did talk about it. We'll insert it for you guys, whatever episode number it was. But he does talk about that.
I think it was 5 or 6.
We have no clue. We will insert the correct number on the screen. Look for that number. So anyhow, but what I wanted to say is I appreciate you setting the goal. We did talk more in detail about that. So if you are interested in hearing about how he kind of like paced himself to go from being, working full time and then progressing into this like 3-year plan now, where he is home and, now trading, you guys can see what that was more about. But setting the goals is amazing. I really think that setting a short-term goal, we talked about this in the 24-hour live a little bit, setting like short-term goals and then setting long-term goals. So I love that you have a 3-year plan that you're working towards, but then you're saying like, hey, but I got to come in and figure out like, how am I going to keep that 3-year plan? Like, what am I going to do like in the short term to be able to like make that attainable and keep that 3-year plan rolling? And, doing something like that, even if it's setting something very small for yourselves, like I want to learn how to I don't know. I want to learn how to make a trading plan. Could be something so small.
You could dunk.
No,
can learn how to dunk.
Every time you
I'll never dunk.
No, but I want to be
Me
specific
neither,
to what
Jinx.
Sven's saying, though. He's saying a rolling plan. So it's not like
Right. Well, that's what setting these realistic attainable goals. So once you meet it, now you say, what's the next goal? And like each time though, at least you're being able to like check that box and say, I did it. And I'm one step closer to that bigger overall goal. Instead of just saying, well, 3 years, I want to still be doing what I'm doing. That's very hard for your brain to process and still say like, stay on course. So taking the time to like reevaluate, am I on course? Am I meeting like the objectives I need to be able to sustain that 3-year plan still? I think that's a really good, it's good to do that, taking that time off to do that. And I love the crunching. I mean, I do love the idea of like take the the energy of the new year and just dive into something new for a week. I think that's, if you have the time to do it after the holidays, you should do it for sure. I do love that. I am a bit of a binger too. So Jay knows that we are binge workers when we do stuff. But I can definitely appreciate that. I love that you talked about the goals though. So thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
so.
I guess
If you want to learn more about Sven's stuff, episode 7, trading
Thank
as
you.
a team.
There it
Episode
is.
seven.
Trading as a team. Yep,
Yeah.
episode 7.
Thank you.
That's what I said. You didn't hear 4. What? Yeah. So what I would like to mention is Jinx and Sven. I know y'all kind of talked about this. I don't think y'all had started this, and this might be what you're kind of intending to try out. But I've seen this before on like a couple YouTube videos and some ads. Like there's like these Forex tester things that are pretty interesting. So y'all want to talk about that?
Hell of a segue, Jay. So yeah, actually, Black Friday, me and Sven went halvesies on a Forex tester subscription. So I am going to be spending a lot of my December kind of refining my edge because I learned between the two strat wars that price action really speaks to me. So DeLorean kind of tipped me into learning a bit more of the price action and trading the patterns. And being a 1-minute trader primarily, you only get a couple of weeks worth of data on TradingView at any given time. So I am looking back. We've had a really busy early month. So I haven't had a chance to break into the Forex tester at all yet. I don't know if Sven has or not, but that's something that I know I'm personally looking at. And we have something like, Sven, you could correct me, I think like 10 years worth of NASDAQ data or something on like
I'll give you
1
even
minute.
more.
Yeah, on like 1 minute
Tick
charts.
data.
Tick data too. So that
we
means
can actually
Ooh.
move like real time.
yeah, so
It's
like forward
that's
testing.
the cool part about this.
Yeah. So, and as a price action trader, like I'm never going to be able to go in and do the coding stuff that Bear and Sven do to like say like, oh, hey, pattern recognition from this level, with a divergence, and that's just not
not
machine
something. Learning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just teach the AI to learn itself. But yeah, so this gives me an opportunity to kind of go back and because I can only replay mode, the past month or whatever it is. So this gives me a kind of good opportunity to go back and put in the work to get, more data into my journaling type of stuff. But December's a busy month for me. So I'm kind of trying to sneak that in between all the normal stuff. I'm a big Christmas guy. It's like my holiday of the year. So, and it is so my son's birthday is the beginning of December, then we have Christmas, and then my wife's birthday is the end of January. So it's like all back to back. It's a lot of gift buying all at once, which is fine because I love getting gifts for people. So, but aside from that, I usually use December. I kind of have like certain end of the year rituals that I like to do as well. I go through in December and I assess, this might sound stupid, but I assess like all of my subscriptions throughout the year, and anything that I never use,
that's actually
I go through and like cancel. Like my wife and I have been talking, like we use Netflix way less, stuff like that. And so we're considering, that type of stuff and evaluate what kind of stuff we use. I go through my email and unsubscribe from a lot of like spam that I get like once in December usually. But I do a lot of like that kind of little maintenance stuff. I'm now getting into, being better about like looking over my finances in December, so I'm not blindsided come like March, so hearing you guys talk about that, that reminds me that I have to go back and look. But it's a lot of that kind of stuff. And I know for me, I definitely, full admission, like I hit a little bit of burnout the past month towards the end of November strategy wars. So I've been consciously taking December off from trading. I don't look at the charts unless, somebody kind of has like a really wacky out of the blue kind of question that I feel like I can help them out with. But other than that, I've just been kind of trying to play it slow with the charts and really focus on the trading to live aspect instead of living to trade. So December's been a good calm down month for me, especially. And then I, like Sven, I look to kind of get back into January and hit the ground running. So hopefully it'll be with a little more data from back testing with the Forex tester software. But if not, then that'll be like my January project for sure, is kind of tackling that. And then I have a lot of stuff on the horizon that I want to, start doing with like with TTF in the editing. So that's a lot of stuff, talking to you guys, figuring out the future. So it's a lot of exciting stuff. I just looking forward to 2023 and using December to kind of like calm and prep, type of stuff. So
reset and recharge.
Exactly.
2023 is going to be our year.
Yeah.
I actually had that happen in the Discord today. Someone like, I think pinged me or something, and they asked me a question about what happened on the charts during London today. And I was like, what asset, what time frame? Because I haven't looked at a chart in 7 days. I have no idea what's happening right now.
Yesterday, the Owanda NASDAQ chart froze for a little while. And like, I wasn't looking at the charts. I was doing other stuff. And somebody posted in DeLorean, like, oh, is anyone seeing this? The NASDAQ on TradingView is completely disconnected from MetaTrader. So I'm like, I'll go check this out. This sounds fun to go look at. So I went and I looked, and I was just like, oh man, Owanda is just like, it's just absolutely crap in the bed. Like it was plummeting. And meanwhile, MetaTrader's just like, oh, nothing going on. So then I started checking it. I was like, oh, capital.com is fine. Pepperstone's all fine. I was like, oh, what's going on? So I went over to like indices chat, and I'm like, hey guys, anybody seeing this? And then, of course, like I'm so excited something's happening. I don't even like scroll up. It's what they've been talking about the past half hour. I was like, oh yeah, you all see this. You all see this. I'm just disconnected right
just
now.
late to the party there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been kind of disconnect. We all do start to disconnect, and that's kind of honestly what I do suggest. And you will see it more and more happening after the 16th, as things will just kind of quiet down. We're all still in the community. Just heads up for you guys. Nobody's like gone. We are still there. If you guys do have questions, and like we are chatting, just know that we're not personally trading, and we're saying that from a place of experience where we just say it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea because you're going to see such wacky things happen, and you're going to get frustrated. And I've actually already gotten a few messages this past week from people who have said that they're frustrated. They're having a rough couple of weeks, and their trading strategy feels like it's not working, but it was working. And this whole, what's going on? And I'm like, it's December. And I don't know how else to say it, and I don't want to sound like so simplified in it, but it's December, and that's the reality.
Your enthusiasm to trade, but you have to understand when
it's not
care.
The strategy is likely not broken. It is good to record and have the data, as we said. It's good to go back and look at, but it's likely not broken. It is likely the market, if it's December, as long as you followed your rules and you entered when you were supposed to, and you didn't do any like funny business, like mentally messing up, like trying to like overthink it. If you really stuck to your rules and it's just not performing well, I more likely than none, it is that it's just December. And come January, first week could be a little bit rough in January. Second week of January, the market should start getting back to its like normal flow. But it is a very well-known fact that December and January can be a little bit tough when it comes to trading. So be kind to yourselves. Don't go too hard on yourselves. Don't freak out about it. It's okay.
Speaking about that, kind of touch on December and January being harder. Prop firms know that it's harder to trade in December and January.
They do.
They give you discounts. And so what
not
you
a
can
coincidence.
do, not a coincidence at all, but what you can do is check with the prop firm. You can check with customer support beforehand and ask them, be like, hey, if I buy an account now, can I wait to start on the 16th of January or sometime? Usually wait about 2 weeks in January, then you should be good. But yeah, like that's an option that you can do, because there are some prop firms where if you buy an account and you don't trade the first 30 days, then they just take it from you, which is kind of a little messed up, but I'm pretty sure it's in their clause that you probably didn't read. But for your sake, if you do end up cashing, because I think FTMO like a couple of days ago had like 15% off or something, and like MFF has something, E8 has something, like
they will run specials during this time of year because
they know to try and trap you. But you are now with this information, you're now smarter than them. No, but just ask them, be like, hey,
You
can
subscribe
I
to TTF.
You could buy TTF said no. But you guys
Prop
can
firms
buy
hate this one trick.
but
you
before
can
you
buy
buy
it.
talk to the support. Be like, hey, if I
Yeah.
buy an account now, can I freeze it until January 16th? And most of the time they'll say yes, just email us back, let us know when you
Yeah.
want to start, and then you can go from there. So that's just a
Yeah.
little fun
So you
fact.
could get
Fun
the
fact.
discounted price maybe, and then just hold on to it until you are ready to come back into the markets once the markets get back to a little bit of normal. But do keep testing. So you guys have heard some of this stuff. Everybody here is still testing. They're still going to be doing stuff, but
Yes.
taking some time. And I don't want to get too much into mindset stuff because we talked a lot about it without really meaning to, but we did talk a lot about it. So if you guys are members, make sure you do check out that 24-hour live. I think every panel at some
The
point
prop
touched
firm
on some sort of
experience one
mindset.
was really deep, I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in prop firms as well, definitely check out that one. That one was really, really good. And it's a very real, experience of what these people who are trading prop firms, not just like glorifying, oh, I passed my account on the first try. So it really went through like what it can feel like when you're getting these accounts and how to manage them. And I highly, highly recommend going into that and watching that once it's posted. But I do want to just kind of touch quickly that like take the time to reset if you can. Even if you like want to still work and do some stuff on the side, do take that time. As Jenks just said, he was having a little bit of a burnout towards November at the end of Strategy Wars. And I myself also was feeling that way, where it was like, it was bittersweet to place my last trade for the year, but I was like ready. I was really, really ready to place that last trade because I needed to be done mentally because there's so many other things. I'm busy just like everyone else. I celebrate the holidays. I have a family as well. And it gets busy for us, and having TTF is wonderful, but another thing that does keep me quite busy as well. And having the trading just lurking in the background, it was just nice to see December come. And I think in December for me, I mean, I guess I'll talk a little bit. My biggest thing is I do my books. I do my books in December. I do, I have a bookkeeper and I keep them throughout the year, but I do my like bigger end of year kind of like, all right, time to look at these numbers.
Overview.
Like, yeah, time to really kind of see what's happening. And I mean, I kind of always do. And quarterly, I have to file because of the way that I have my taxes done. But the big end of year reveal is always kind of nice to know before. And so I do my books. The other thing that I did, and I'm going to admit, I'm a hypocrite, guys. I'm such a hypocrite, and I apologize. We tell you journal, and I was really lazy at journaling this year. So I have to spend time going back. But what I have
Disgusting.
done, no, I know. Just stop watching now. This girl just lies. No.
Unbelievable.
I know. How dare I? I was really, really bad at journaling and like really journaling. But what I did do was take screenshots of all of my trades and I do like drop them all in a folder. So I have that daunting task now of having to go through all of my screenshots and like drop them and journal like all the actual information. So that should be fun.
Enjoy August and November.
Yeah, that's what I was like, man, I should have probably done those, at least done Strategy Wars month. So going into 2023, lesson learned for me, I will have to learn how to be better at doing that. So a mini goal I will set for myself is to do better at my journaling, because now I'm going to have to go back and like revise it. A blessing and a curse. I was very fortunate that I did very well this year, that I didn't feel the need to have to do so much data analysis on my part. The curse being now that I have to go back through an entire year's worth of screenshots and trades and try to figure out like, what strategy was that? Or what was I doing there? I tried to make little notes to myself, but my recommendation, guys, is honestly, it's so much easier if you truly do journal along the way. Or if you're busy, at least go back like weekly or at least monthly and do it. So you're not like me where you're going to have 12 months now. Well, 11 months worth of data organizing. So I will be busy doing that. And then we do, obviously we do all of our analysis. So in TTF, I will be doing all the strategies, and myself and Jay will be taking some of the time to go through all of our data and now like analyzing it. We've already talked to you guys about revamping. So we always are collecting data every month on all of our strategies. We do that on purpose so we can go back through and look at like what's working, what still isn't working, where are we maybe needing some help to filter this some or revamp. So everything will get a new makeover because the market conditions do always change. You should be tracking what you're doing and making sure that you're making like whatever tweaks might need to be made based off of your data or your trade journal, whatever you have. So that's kind of my year, right? That's my next, not year, my end of year plan. I have probably the next 3 weeks of doing that kind of stuff. But my biggest thing, honestly, is as we wrap up, is I will be taking a good 2 weeks to just reset. Like I'll be around in Discord to answer questions in and out, but my hours will be on holiday hours. And I truly believe in that, you guys. I really think that you have to have like that time to just shut down a little bit and decompress and just enjoy the little things that like you probably are just kind of like overthinking every day. So I am a big advocate of that because I'm probably like the Mrs. Claus to Jenks, like over here. If he's Santa, like I'm Mrs. Claus. Like I love Christmas. I love buying stuff for people and spoiling people. So like I have the ability to do that now. And it's like one of my favorite things to do is to just be able to give back and like do stuff. So I love Christmas. If you guys are stalking my Spotify, I think we joked about this. Like I have been listening to Christmas music since like November 1st on repeat. So I am definitely going to take the next 2 weeks to really enjoy the holiday season. And yeah, that's my plan. So Jay, what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, so mine's pretty short. It's pretty simple, kind of what the
You're
guys
going to be doing what I tell you to do? You're like,
No, I'm actually going to be doing the
when
complete
you wake me up.
opposite. I'm going to be doing the complete opposite of what Christy is going to tell me to do. But no, ever since since probably May, whenever TTF started, I was more of a night owl, so I was more of a London trader, and I wouldn't say scalp, but it was almost a hybrid in between scalping and kind of day trading, to where I wouldn't say I was in and out within a couple minutes, but I did require a lot more like attention on the charts than than I'm able to do now, and that's okay. Like TTF's fun, and I enjoy helping everybody, but it's just the simple fact that I needed kind of a change in pace of strategy. And while I did that in November, I did do pretty decent with Outback. I think I made around like 8 or 9%, but it was still, I did use more, like I guess subconsciously more kind of price action. And I wanted to be, I wouldn't fully mechanical is always awesome because like I could be working on the side and I just see something pop up and great, but nothing will ever be fully mechanical. But I chose, like, the past 2 weeks, what I've been doing. I've been going back in November. I've been doing extensive testing. Like you'll know by now, I'm a data nerd with the ETFs, and so I've been using that with Outback, and I've been doing pretty decent with testing. But I'm the same way with Christy. I'm gonna take my break because end of November, I was still I was still in the strategy wars mindset, and I just like took that into like, okay, I must just keep like back testing my thing, and then working with TTF as well. So I haven't really stopped. Well, the past couple of days I kind of stopped, but then we had this 24-hour extravaganza, which I mean, shout out to Bear for like sticking around and spin for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Makes it awesome.
But I just kind of haven't stopped, and like now when I woke up today to do this podcast, like, damn, I'm tired. But
yeah,
no,
we're all getting tired, and
just simple,
that's
it's simple
normal.
things. Like I'm just working on my personal strategy, and that also with like my stock portfolio. It could be better. It's better. Hopefully it'll get better soon, but with the economy, that could potentially be going crazy in next year. Who knows? But time will tell. I've been focusing on that. I like myself some dividends. That's why I call myself Stonk Lord, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, it's super simple. Just check my stock portfolio, check streams of income, and then personal trading. I want to be able to trade more. It's just I haven't been able to I would say validate my new system as I would like, because I do love my data. I don't like to just hop into something and be like, yeah, I know I'm good enough at trading. Let's test this, or like, let's trade this. But I'd rather test it to make sure, be like, you know what, this works perfectly on Thursdays and Fridays. I could just focus more on work on Monday through Friday, and then I could just trade on Thursday and Friday, you know? So I could just focus on work on Monday through Wednesday and then focus on trading Thursday and Friday, which I like to time gate and be efficient in that manner. But yeah, it's nothing complicated, guys. It really is as easy as that. You just have to hold yourself accountable and actually do the work. It's very boring and time consuming. I understand. Just put on your favorite Spotify playlist and go at it. For Christy and Jinx, it's probably Christmas music, but for me, it is completely opposite. I'm not saying I'm the Grinch, but I don't really like Christmas music all that much because my dad
I'm with you, Jay.
Whenever I go visit my dad, he's just blaring it across the entire house. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? It is not even Thanksgiving yet. So
Papa J and I are twin souls. We are just two Tauruses that enjoy our Christmas music, you know.
I barely have any festivities in my place. No Christmas music, no lights.
Yeah, it's like I enjoy Christmas, but like I don't enjoy having to take down the decorations after I put them up. Like that's the worst. That's the worst part. Some people just leave their Christmas tree year round. I'm probably turn into one of those guys soon. But
my house, we just another month. I mean, we have Christmas Day where have dinner and celebrate and maybe a little bit of gift giving, but it's really just another month for us.
God, you guys are I'm just gonna buy presents for everyone now. Just keep telling me the sob story. I'm gonna be like, all right, everyone can come for dinner.
So to kind of wrap this up,
send you all Christmas trees.
Before we start rambling about Christmas, which will
no, we do want to tell you though, this is our Christmas episode, which is kind of like also supposed to be actually useful to you guys. But you will not see us again actually until after the holidays, podcast wise, because we really truly are taking these breaks. And I don't want to keep like honing in on mindset, but I do want you guys to not feel bad for needing time away. Don't feel like you're a failure because like you might need a break from trading, especially when life gets busy. The holiday season can be very busy, especially for a lot of people, you know, with families and kids and stuff like that. And I don't ever want you guys to feel like you're failing at something because you're not putting in the time and you're pushing yourself to sit and do something. You know, take the time to really just let yourselves enjoy the holiday and then come back when you're ready. The market's not ideal right now anyway, so you shouldn't feel bad for needing some time away. You can always talk in the community if you're doing these little side projects, like we said, we'll all be working on still stuff relating to our like careers and our trading and whatever we're doing. But you know, maybe just like stepping back out of the live market and not having that pressure to be in present watching the market constantly. Like you heard Jinx and Bear say, like they have no clue what's going on in the charts right now. Like if you're like, did you see that move? And you're like, no idea. And there's something beautiful. Like you guys have to say, there is a little bit of relief and freedom you get when you feel like, I don't know. And I don't want to know right now. Just for this month. And the nice thing about that, when you step back and you take that kind of time away from yourselves, when it comes time for January to come around, you get excited again. There's that like excitement to come back into the market and trade again. At least for me, I really do enjoy it. When I come back in January, I'm always like, ooh, and I get a little nervous again. Like the excitement comes back to start trading again and get back in that routine. It's something I do crave, is having like a routine. So it's nice to take a break and rest from it, but it will come back to you guys. So don't feel, it's like riding a bike. You don't forget everything you learned because you took a week or two off from the markets. So don't feel bad about that. Setting your little mini goals is another thing I think is actually really important, or working on maybe looking at other ways to beef up your portfolios or your investments. That could be something else if it's even beyond trading. Like maybe it's not Forex in general, but just how investments, how do you want to go about the next year? Looking at like, what would you like for yourself? Like setting some financial goals for yourself or to try and work on. And like Jay said, he would be doing that. I myself, that actually is another one I didn't talk about, but I personally am very financially well, but I would like to kind of go back into some of my things that I'm investing in. So like I said, when I go over my books, that kind of all falls into that. What I would really like to do this year, a goal of mine, is actually to, you know, since I'm financially stable, I would like to try and actually start setting up more kind of like generational wealth, something that I haven't actually really done too much of yet. Like I'm very well off, and I've made sure that if something, God forbid, happens to me, the people that I love and care about are going to be taken care of. But I would really like to start setting up other people, like started helping. And I'm not, this is not a plug, you guys. Oh my God, please don't think I'm
I'll send
about
my
to
resume.
invest for other people.
Mama
I meant for
kids.
my family, for my personal family and stuff like that, just trying to help them get in a better position. And some of them have like shown interest in learning like what I do and all that. And I would, a goal of mine, like a smaller goal, is to try and help everyone, like them, get a little bit more comfortable. Cause I do think, when you're talking about investing and stuff, especially here in the US, I can't speak about other countries, but in the US, I do think it is a topic that, unless you came from that background or maybe went to school for it, like it really isn't taught. You're not, it's almost like they don't want you to know. I really truly
Yeah.
feel that way sometimes, where it's like it's ignorance is bliss, and they don't want you to know how to become financially free, to an extent. And I think it's something that actually it kind of makes me sad to think that so many people aren't learning these things. And with the age of the internet, it's so easy to learn now. So it's something that I would like to do and help teach my immediate family a little bit more about how to do this on their own and get them set up a little bit more. So that's like a goal for me for 2023, is to be able to get them a little more comfortable when it comes to like their long-term investments and stuff like that.
I'm kind of the same
Um,
way.
so-
Well, obviously my dad already trades as a hobby, but like my like immediate like best friends, I'd be like, if y'all are interested in this, like I'll let you know, but I'm not gonna
yeah.
force. I'm not gonna
We're not
Jehovah's
offering to
Witness you.
trade for you guys. We're also not offering trade. We do
I'm
not
not.
offer that service.
I'm
We
not
never
gonna. No,
will.
yeah,
This
it's
is
like
for
I'm not
our
gonna
loved
force it
ones.
on you. But if you are like, I'm talking just about my best friends. I'm not talking about any of y'all. Gross. No, but no, but it's I've always told them, they always ask what I do, and I kind of give them a nonchalant answer, and then usually I'm like, hey, if you're interested, I'm willing to help you, but I'm not gonna force this on you. Like you have to. This is a journey that you have to take, but I'm like more than capable of like aiding and helping you in that. But I also wanted to kind of give a little nugget when Christy talked about financials. I kind of forgot about this. I kind of just left it as like I really like dividends. So for people who are interested in doing this, I do recommend that you use Yahoo Finance as like a starting point for your research if you are looking to kind of potentially build a stock portfolio.
They have
Not
a
saying
nice beginner, like user friendly. That I can get down with the beginner version of Yahoo Finance. Okay.
Well, yeah, so like what's cool about them is like even like something as simple as like whenever you look up a stock in Yahoo Finance, they have like a historical data tab. And in that data tab, what you can actually do is look up like if it's a pretty big company like a blue chip stock like a King dividend or aristocrat where they've been paying people out for like 25, 50 years. They have like a historical data tab on their specific ticker, and you could see when they pay their dividend stocks out, and like you could literally go as crazy as investing in certain companies to where you can get paid out in dividends every single week of the year. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to line up everything and like diverse your portfolio, but that is an option using Yahoo Finance to doing that, because you could see when they've been paying out their investors 5 years, 10 years, if they've been doing that. So yeah, that's just kind of a little nugget. Yahoo Finance is a good tool. They won't tell you specifically what to invest in, and nor will I, but you can kind of
Yeah.
do your research to where you can kind of figure out like what super investors potentially might invest in. That way you can kind of get an idea, but make sure you diverse in multiple sectors. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that stocks is learning some stuff about the stock markets and investments and things like that. There's always potential there too, but I just want to make sure that we're very clear on this, that
We're not financial
you
advisors.
should we're not financial advisors, and you should never ever pay somebody to do it for you unless they are truly a financial advisor. Like they have the criteria and credentials and everything. Like, do not fall for anything online. Please don't. There are so many scammers out there. So just be careful. Like we don't want to advise you to do anything bad, you guys. Please, it's just about learning. There's so much free content out there that you can learn about it, and it's just kind of like something, if you have some time now, another thing that potentially, if you're like, looking to maybe make some like, I don't want to say smaller returns, but more
It
like
takes a
slow
while.
returns,
It's a
slower
long-term
returns.
investment. Yeah.
Yeah, versus like, day trading, which can be a little bit of a faster return. But it is an option, and a lot of us do it, as you've heard us all talk about. I think each of us in some way or another said books and things like that. And when we say books, that's what we mean. We mean there's, probably multiple things coming through that we need to look at beyond just our trading profits. And you guys have heard other podcasts where we've talked about streams of income and things like that. We've talked about it a bunch of times. So, but one of those major things for most of us is some sort of stock investment that we have coming in or that we have invested in. So it takes time to build. Be patient with yourselves. But if you are looking to start diversifying a little bit with that, you should definitely look at it. Sven has done very well with that back in the day. And if you guys would like, go check out episode 7, where we talk about that. You guys can hear about how he was able to make this 3-year plan up. And a big part of that was stocks. Right, Sven? I'm correct,
Yeah,
right?
that's my starting point.
You're sitting there pretty quiet. Like, I was just looking for a nod. Like, yeah, right, that's you. A big portion of that was
everything you're saying is false.
and there's something really nice about stocks too. We don't cover a ton of it in our community because we aren't big stock traders in that way, but we all do have stocks or advisors. And please be careful is all I want to just make sure. Do not trust some random person asking you for your crypto wallet. That is a scammer. I promise you.
Wait, really?
They are not investing.
If
So
you want
please
someone to
be
invest
careful.
your money, go to a money manager.
And actually, yes.
Like a
somebody
fiduciary.
legit.
So
A fiduciary, a money manager, an investment advisor.
Somebody who is legit with like a certificate, not somebody who's in your WhatsApp. So please do not trust them.
With that being said, before we wrap it up, I do want to open the floor to the guys. Any final thoughts? Any final phrases? Any catchphrases? Any dad
words
jokes?
of advice?
I was gonna say, as a quick shameless plug to tack on to immediately what you guys were just talking about, check out episode 11 of the podcast. That's like the building wealth outside of trading. And you guys talked a lot about the multiple streams of income and cash flow. That's kind of like, that was a word that you guys didn't use, but I wanted to make sure people heard. Cash flow is like really important. And that's something that dividends really cover. Like I don't talk about it in the Discord because it's not what we do or promote, but like I have dividend strategies and like covered call strategies running in the background. And that's monthly income for me. And, I have some things pay like quarterly and other things pay, like monthly. So like every month something's coming in and, it's small, but it snowballs over time and allows you, like my entire phone bill right now is paid by like, like one company's dividends type of thing. Yeah. And like that's small, but it adds on where, 1 month or 1 year it's your phone bill. And then the next year you realize like, oh, I can pay for all of my groceries with this other dividend.
It's definitely a rabbit hole that you could fall
it is
into.
but it's the generational wealth like you were saying, Christy, this is so much so how you build it, and it's something that I'm excited to get more into as well as time goes on.
I think people with families and stuff do start to think about that, like how can I pass along and make sure your children and stuff are secure and whatever you may be into and your whatever it is. And you don't, I think everybody wants to make sure their children don't struggle to an extent, and setting them up and making sure they're okay, or your family, whatever your family is for. It doesn't just have to be children, but that's kind of where I want to really start kind of focusing to make sure, like, I've made sure everybody will be okay if God forbid something happens, but long term, starting to like teach good, building those like accounts and things like that. Artie's talked about doing this. I think he has talked about it on his channel. I don't know if we have anything here, but he's talked about doing it with his daughter, who is 3 at the moment and is getting set up for life. So, I mean, that's like the kind of stuff you want to, you start to think about, like, how can I start, investing, and what are these things you can do? And he's found some really cool things he talked about in that episode 11. There was a thing that he talks about where he like borrowed against his life insurance. This is not financial advice. Please don't do this, you guys. If you truly need life insurance, it's different for Artie, and everyone's situation is different. But he talks about doing this and being able to take a pretty large sum of that money and putting it into an account where now he is going to be getting back, a higher interest rate. And it's just something that, like, he's just shuffling the money. It's not like, oh, where you're stressing, how do I come up with $100K, $200K? He's just finding money that he has somewhere else, borrowing, shuffling. And this is what banks do. You know, this is what people with large capital do. They don't pull out all of their actual money. They borrow against and repay back and shuffle around. And you know, that's what people do when it comes to doing this. And it's all to create another stream of income, another way of cash flow, as you're saying, another way of money coming in consistently. So that way, if one dries up, one is slowing down, or if you're a day trader and the markets are weird and you have to take off December, you're not freaking out about how do you pay your rent or your mortgage come, you know, January 1st. How are you both going to get paid because you didn't trade in December because TTF said don't trade, you know, like you have something else coming through if you're making that commitment to full on leave an actual job. But we've talked about this a lot, and we've said, you know, please don't leave your jobs until you have all these things in place. But there's lots of things you guys can be working on beyond just day trading. And it's something that I think, you know, there's a lot of information out there. You're given so many opportunities with the internet now that just didn't exist like even 10, 20 years ago. The wealth of knowledge to be able to find these things out to the average person. So use it to your best ability, and you know, take the time, take the next couple of weeks to figure out what you want to do, whether it's finalizing your trading plan, going through your data, looking at other possibilities for maybe like a nice background and slow and grow type of investment. There's so many things out there, you guys. So take the holidays, figure out what you want to do, rest, relax, and enjoy them.
Mr. Bear?
Any final comments from you guys for our viewers?
I'll segue directly from your last comment about resting and relaxation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate this in a way that maybe might resonate with some people who are more stubborn about resting and relaxation, aka my twin brother. I've had this conversation with him like a million times. So I come from a background of high performance athletics, and you know, it's like go 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 go. If you're not training, you're not getting better. If you're not getting better, then someone is beating you somewhere.
Yeah.
So it was always like train hard and then train harder. But we always had a system where we'd train 6 days and take the 7th day off, where we'd go to a sauna or something, just recoup the muscles, rest. Because to put it numerically, what ends up happening is you're going to operate at like 100% for, let's say, a couple weeks. And then you're going to start operating at 90%, then 80%, then 60%, then 50%. Even though you're like, I can keep going, you're not actually being efficient with the amount of time and effort you're putting into whatever you're doing. You need to take that time to recharge. And if you're taking 1 day off every week, you're staying at 100% every week. You're putting out the most effort, getting the most returns for that effort and time. But if you're just pushing, you know, trading stocks and Forex during the week and trading crypto on the weekends, and then trying to do studying here, like, you're just going to drive yourself into the ground, and then you're going to be making bad decisions, bad trades, and you're just going to get worse and worse. You need to take that time to rest and recharge fully so that you can always be at your best.
We have talked about that too in the 24-hour live. So if you guys are in the community, do check that out. But you know, basically just saying like every part of your life will begin to suffer, or something will get neglected. And you know, that's when relationships or you know, other priorities in your life potentially start to feel the effects of you overexerting in one area or another. So if you're at all ever feeling like that, take the time away, whether it's Christmas or not. Just take some time off. It's okay. You're allowed to have time off. That's the whole point of being employed for yourself. That's the whole idea of looking at this type of world, to have this financial freedom. You have the freedom to say, I'm done. I'm not going to work today.
She's gonna
So
spam
that's
me
the beauty.
afterwards, guys.
And Jay will work today because my day is not going to be.
The
No,
irony,
just kidding.
the irony of this.
I'm just
woman.
kidding, you guys.
Mr.
I
Stan.
will.
So yeah, my final comments would be back to goal setting, because I think many will naturally review the year and plan ahead. Make the same as trading, process over outcome. So don't say I want to kind of lose 10 pounds of weight. Say I want to go do some exercises, 10 minutes a day. Make it small so you can easily get to it, because we all know making it a habit takes 2 to 3 months. If you manage that time with little goals, as small as possible, but do them over and over again, once it's a habit, it's easy to pound on them. All of a sudden, you're doing 1 hour runs, whatever. It's pretty easy once you have that habit. But so make it a positive outcome, make it small, and always remember that the best thing you can invest in is yourself. You're the most powerful source for everything. So that would be my advice.
I agree. I love the smaller goal setting. Have a big goal. You need a bigger goal to work towards. those little goals, there's that endorphins that get released, and you get to say, I did it, and it
Tick it
pushes
off,
you
check it
more.
off, or whatever.
Yeah, like, weight loss is an easy one everyone can relate to. Like you said, 10 pounds, that might feel like a lot to do. But if you say, I just want to lose 2 pounds, and then you get on the scale and you lose 2 pounds, you're like, oh, that's great. And you have that motivation to say, well, I want to lose another 2 pounds, 2 pounds. And then that adds up to 10 pounds. And now you've done it. And then you can say, I've met my little goals and my big goal. And, that's the kind of stuff, even with trading, keep it small. Set your goals realistic and small. Don't say, I want to just be a millionaire or I want to quit my job. Those are goals that can feel very far away when you're in the process, and you just get defeated. It's not good mentally. It's good to set these smaller, realistic goals for yourselves, but have an end goal in sight.
Don't set arbitrary time horizons either.
Oh, another
Don't
thing. Don't say this time next
problem.
year. I know a lot of people get in the new year and say, "Oh, this is my year. 2023 is going to be my year." And
It is,
that just
Chris.
kind of
Like,
happens.
what are you talking about?
It just happens, but that's putting a time frame on it. And what you should just be like is, I'm going to make 2023 one of my best years, and and then set these like realistic time frames. Not setting a time frame is a good thing, because when you don't hit that goal potentially, but you've made progress, you will regress in everything that you have made progress wise, and you will fail to see how far you've come along, even though you might not have hit that goal, and it just sets you back so far. So try not to put a time limit on it. But
it happens a lot in fitness where they're like, I want to lose 50 pounds this year in 6 months, and then they get to 6 months and they've lost 40 pounds, and they're like, I failed. Like, no, you didn't.
No.
And then binge eat.
You just
Look
you just
back at what
needed
you've
7
done.
months. You needed 7 months to get there instead of 6. And what
Yeah.
is the arbitrary number of 6 months? Who cares?
Yeah.
Same thing with financial goals, right? I want to be 50% richer by July. And if you're 45% richer, did you fail? No, you're doing a great job.
No.
But
You're not going to go blow all the money and just be like, forget it. This is a waste.
You just needed more time. Just don't set arbitrary time horizons, and work towards the goal and the time in a good process and with good discipline to get you there when you get there.
And also don't expect your back testing to be a complete one-on-one comparison to your live testing when you do start, because the markets are always changing, and also your back testing is perfect world scenarios. It's not you factor in fear and greed that might happen during that process. So that's probably a really big one there too. But as I say that, we are going to wrap up episode 13 of the podcast. This was what we'll be doing for the rest of December and also kind of the beginning of January. So I hope you enjoyed that. I appreciate the guys for coming on. Very short notice. So thank y'all. Thanks, Ben.
My pleasure.
It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Ben and Jinx.
I always love talking.
Yes, no, thank you guys for coming on. And I hope you guys got some sort of nuggets out of this, even if it was just to hear that it's okay to rest and relax, or whatever. We're all doing the same thing, or maybe you got some motivation for the new year going into it. But we really do appreciate you guys for being here with us through the podcast. This will be our official wrap up of season 1. So when we come back, we'll be in season 2, which is crazy because I thought I would have canceled this in season 1. That's crazy. But no, we'll be back for season 2 in the new year. So we'll see you guys next year. That joke never gets old. Yes, that's my dad joke. I'll see you guys next year. I will see you guys all next year in the podcast for season 2. So will Jay. And I'm sure you guys will be seeing much more of Bear, Sven, and Jenks because, they're always around. So you guys... Yeah, anyway, we appreciate it. You guys are always around you. And if you are going to watch that 24-hour live, you will be seeing a lot more of Bear and Sven. So buckle in for that. But you guys, happy New Year, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays to all of you guys. And we will see you guys next season. All right. Bear, Sven, Jenks, happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays, guys.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye,
See you in
guys.
2023.
Yeah.